Yeah. Woo. Let's go.
Good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning.
Hey, wake up.
First Guy Omaha in the morning.
In the morning.
Wake up, 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 wake up. Wake up.
Shout out Sherman Wells. Time to wake up.
Wake up, wake up.
Big Sherm, Big Sherm.
Wake up, wake up. You better wake up from this dream. Life is not what it seems.
Oh, about that time. Thanks for joining us. Fresh edition of First Guy Omaha in the morning.
In the morning.
Happening right now on this 10th day of December, 2025. Appreciate you getting up early with us this morning. It is a Wednesday, I believe. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm day.
Middle of the week already. Yep. Appreciate everybody coming in. I see people coming in already. Early. I see Ariel's 4028. Places, everyone. Places.
Hey,
Get set up. Quite on the set. Like that. What's up, Wednesday? Leia Keister in the chat. I appreciate you coming in. What's up, Wednesday? Is a good question. Judy Printer says, hang on or you will blow away. Man, a little windy out here this morning for sure.
That bad, huh?
Definitely talk about it. Yep. Kimber Snipes gives us a good morning. Good morning to you. Appreciate that very much. Our fellow reporters are up early talking about the win this morning. Here's Cerise Cole over at WOWT saying power problems. More than 3,500 OPPD customers in the dark in Sarpy and Douglas counties. Gusty winds likely a factor. This is about an hour ago. So, yeah, not looking good. As of 6:15, OPPD said there was 3,836 power outages happening right now. So, kind of anxious to see who's going to come through this morning. If you got power and you're on, and I'm also anxious to see if the show will go through this morning.
Man,
All the way with these winds. 50, 60 mile an hour winds is happening outside right now, making this 30-degree weather feel like 10 degrees. So, yeah. Tough. I appreciate it. Excuse me. Thanks for everybody who's letting us know, that you guys are here, because it's going to be one of those days. Between time, what's going on with you, buddy?
Man, feeling good. A little tired, but got some rest last night. Finally, definitely looking forward to the break. A couple 2 episodes left in this thing.
Today and Friday, last 2 episodes of the season. Space is the place.
Yeah, man. I'm feeling good. The latest episode of Lanes of Change is out now. Check that out on YouTube. It's available.
Cool. Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah. We'll definitely have to grab the graphic for that. Appreciate you guys getting up. I see Marlon Harrison saying good morning, First Sky family, and happy Wellness Wednesday. Yep. Hope everybody's well. I've been kind of fighting a little bit of a sinus thing here with the change of weather and the wind.
Yeah.
But yeah, for the most part, the wellness is on my mind big time.
Health as well.
Yep. RG says, morning, y'all. Appreciate you getting up. He says, I see Spike Lee's face floating around the local interweb quite a bit these days.
Yeah.
Spike was definitely in town. There was a army of photographers there at the event the other night at the Highland. So I got to see some old media buddies out there. And I was like, we're going to get some good shots of tonight. So,
Man.
Yeah, so it was a good time. Kimber says we have had a really good board workshop Monday. I'm glad to hear it. Said to go over the draft strategic plan. It was considered a public meeting.
Okay.
Sounds
Let the
good.
public show out.
Yeah, I'm glad to hear it was a really good board workshop. So that's good for OPS. Yep. We assume. Yeah, man, I appreciate you giving us a little update on that. Love to hear some details on that at some point. So I'm glad I'm glad it worked well. It is Wednesday. We do have a special guest coming in today as well. We had 2 special guests, but we got a call early this morning. Former Senator Justin Wayne will not be joining us today. Had some things go down in the middle of the night that he had to attend to. So he hit me up very, very early this morning and said he wasn't going to be able to make it. But we do have a special guest. Khenda Mustafa is going to join us. She's from the Center for Immigrant and Refugee Advancement, CIRA. We've been talking about that organization for a while, so we're going to finally get to hear about some of the things that they're doing in the city as well. So shout out to her for hitting me up the other day and saying, yeah, let's get together, come on and talk about it. So appreciate that. We'll definitely enjoy speaking with her. If you have any questions for that organization, now's the time to ask them. So we're anticipating that for sure.
Yeah, some good things.
Some good things. Good things. We got a few community updates that we definitely need to jump into. Matter of fact, a lot of them. So I'm going to go
Quite
ahead
a few.
and jump in and get started with quite a few. Yeah, we're coming up on that OPPD town hall meeting. This is going to be a lot of OPPD talk. This is next few weeks for sure. But December 11th, which is tomorrow, 6:30 to 8 p.m. at the Catalyst Building, 4601 Catalyst Court in Omaha, Nebraska. Definitely check this out. Craig Moody from OPPD Board of Directors will be there. And this is a good time to really kind of continue the conversation about what's happening with OPPD and all of that good stuff as well. So definitely check this out. Of course, we've been talking a little bit about this Miller Park stakeholder engagement that's coming up on the 13th. This is another thing to put on your calendar. This has been something that we've been talking about for a little bit, that the whole Miller Park situation that we were hopefully going to get some insights on today. But again, Senator Justin Wayne called earlier this morning, said he couldn't make it, but we will definitely talk to him in the future about what's going on here. I also got a little bit of inside information on some other things that's going on here with the players involved with that. So we'll get to that a little later on, but this is the way that they're reaching out to find out what you, the public, have to say about what's going on with Miller Park. So you see they have one on December 4th. The next one is Saturday, December 13th. A couple days coming up from 10 to 11 a.m. And all sessions will be held at Nelson Mandela Elementary, 6313 North 30th Street. Yeah. So definitely put that on your calendar. Got to do it. The other day, I failed to mention about the opening that happened over there at the Visitor Center, North Omaha Visitor Center. Shout out to Preston Love Jr. There was a really good turnout. As a matter of fact, they had a couple shifts of turnouts that night. Yeah, it was so many people that came by. It was crazy. So if you haven't checked out the North Omaha Visitor Center yet, definitely do that. Coffee shop inside. That night they had some food. I don't know if they regularly have food there, but they got the coffee shop happening inside too. So shout out to Astute and all those guys. But it was a really great turnout. We got to talk about how much money is coming through North Omaha. There is a lot.
Follow the money.
So next season, Follow the Money is going to be very, very good timing. Good timing on that.
I forget the name, but a few chat chimers had mentioned it's supposed to be like a bakery or something that's going to be selling like some dishes out of there.
They had some on opening night. I'm not sure it's going to continue to sell the bakery goods, but there's going to be a few things. Yeah, a few things with the coffee shop.
They will continue. Somebody's been saying they will continue. I forget the name of the bakery, but a few chat chimers have been saying that will be available in the visitor shop, not just for the grand opening.
Oh, okay. That's not what I heard that night, but okay, that's good. Mm-hmm. That's some new information. Cool. Yeah, it's gonna be. I think. I mean, wait till you go see it. It's laid out. It's like to me, it's something that's so needed. I know that anytime I'm around the area, I'm definitely gonna be hitting it up. The North Omaha Visitor Center is gonna be this, and it's got like areas for you to have a board meeting, and it's a cool spot. It's all decked out, and and the Omaha history is on the walls in there. It's a beautiful thing. Definitely check it out when you get a chance. Also, some sad news. I don't know if you guys have known Katie Rain, who is a guest on the show and a friend of First Sky Omaha. Her grandmother passed away, and this just happened this week as well. For those of you who know Katie Rain, she's been taking care of her grandmother too for a while. But Ruth P. Thomas, who was 104 years old, she passed away. Yeah, she was. This just happened this week as well. So here's some information on her obituary and in the funeral arrangements and things that's going on there. For those of you that know her, know the family, I'll put that link in the chat. But rest in peace, the original Rain, Ruth P. Thomas. Most definitely a matriarch in the city in a big way, man.
Man, I mean, anytime you lose a centurion, like it's a library. Imagine how much change in life and society and just how much information, knowledge.
Big time.
Rest in peace.
Rest in peace. Shout out, love to the family as well. I know they're going through it right now for sure. Speaking of families going through it, Precious McKesson put a post up, and I wanted to give her a little time here. She says, hello, Facebook. I have 2 families in need at Christmas, looking for assistance for 2 young ladies, 15 and 17. If you know anyone who's adopting families, or if you would like to donate towards gift cards, it would be greatly appreciated. So just wanted to make sure that her call to action got heard by our audience as well. You know Precious already. Go ahead and hit her up on Facebook if you have any way that you can help the situation here too. We are getting close to the holidays, and being that our last show is on Friday, we won't be able to continue to announce some of the help that's there. But be looking out for our resources page that we're putting on our website. And excuse me, anytime we have any resources, we'll go ahead and put those on the website, and also repost those on Friends of First Sky Omaha as well. So a shout out to Precious for doing that good work. And last but not least, before we move on here, I just want to give a shout out to our friends over at Weberized.
Hey.
And Star Trek Rich and Margie are doing the thing. They actually have a workshop that they put together, and can't wait to see this. This is I'll put the link to their class here. They got about 10 spots, and for a very low price, they can show you how to put your podcast together and all the good stuff that they do over there. Remember, our first couple of years of First Sky Omaha was over at Weberized Studios with Star Trek Rich and Margie, and they're still in the squad, still making things happen over there at Weberized, and they're the professionals in the game in a big way. So highly suggest you hit them up if you have any aspirations to be a podcaster or be in radio or be in broadcast television or any of the things that they have expertise on. Definitely check out Weberized.com so that you can check out what the classes are all about and sign up if you are so inclined.
Squad.
There you go. Squad in the house. With that, I'll save some more of these community updates for a little bit later on in the show. Again, just to reiterate, we do have a special guest coming on. This will be the first time that this guest comes through. This is her first appearance here on First Sky Omaha. Khenda Mustafa will be here. She's from Center for Immigrant and Refugee Advancement. We've been talking about this organization all season, so I can't wait to learn a little bit more about it. Please get your questions ready for that as well. Meantime, between time, buddy, what's going on with you? What's on your mind today?
Yeah, man. A few things, of course, as we finish up this season, still trying to wrap up the idea, the concept, what it means, spaces and places. What does that mean to all of us? And also wrapping up a few stories that we've been paying attention to. Of course, been trying to set this trend this season of starting with the affirmative. Again, stories that kind of, lead us into the direction of the theme that we're talking about. And of course, spaces and places, talking about development. A new event recently happened as far as Blue Prairie, formerly known as the Mayats, if you remember. Again, an area in North Omaha that has recently been developed. The first stage of that has finished. And they recently just had an event about affordable housing, which again is definitely near and dear, central to the idea of spaces and places. Again, building a community, building a place to call home definitely, starts with having a home. So definitely talk about that situation. Would love to hear takes from anybody that's been over there, especially those who are familiar with that area. Again, redeveloping the old Mayats apartment, which has its own stigma and history, but looking to change that a little bit. And so definitely would love to jump into that. I also got to talk about this situation with the Bud Crawford and Omaha police. Of course, shout out to Kasim Shabazz, who we spoke to here on the show about the event right after it happened, giving us a update. And now, speaking of updates, the favorite version, there's a lawsuit going out now, and also some changes in training policies. Again, Omaha police responding to the situation as well. Would definitely love to hear your thoughts on that situation, especially talk about spaces and places. How, again, are we feeling safe in the spaces and places? How are the spaces and places we call home being policed? Definitely have to talk about it. Also, speaking of being policed, as Paul mentioned, we will be speaking to Sister Khenda from Sierra about this whole ICE situation. Of course, on Monday, we just talked about some politicization of some recent events here. Again, trying to justify the whole ICE situation, but again, trying to get some insight on the fight against it, as we've been very clear. Nobody wants it. Nobody wants this whole McCook corny clink, as I'm calling it, and Sierra's definitely on the front lines of that fight. So looking forward to that conversation, seeing, where it is and where it's going. So again, definitely chime in to that situation. And other news, getting ready to follow the money. We've been paying close attention to what's going on with OPS. Paul always points out the fact that, again, the numbers mentioned by Sister Camera that OPS has pretty much a bigger budget than Omaha. I mean, hundreds of millions of dollars, except for, or at least, this $30 million in question. There's some confusion. There's some back and forth. Again, if you remember earlier really last month, we reported, or it was reported, and the fact that OPS will actually be losing money. There's some confusion, some mistakes in the formula on how the state funds OPS. And again, $30 million will be going back to the state. What does that mean? What happens with that? And again, how does that impact the things we've been talking about? Again, spaces and places, brain drain, trying to make sure our youth can flourish and get a good education, go on, find a good job, and, build families. Isn't that the hope? So definitely talk about that. And also, as we prepare for next season, this is something we haven't really talked about, but this is especially in Omaha, industry that is very, very, very powerful in Omaha. Talk about the health industry, and especially health and insurance, both of those big industries in Omaha, and looking at nationally, this article talking about affordable healthcare or not so affordable healthcare. Again, patients being sued for $59 in unpaid bills, kind of a forecast of next year. Again, as we prepare to follow the money going into next season, health and healthcare and how much it costs is definitely going to impact people's bottom line and quality of life. Let's just call it what it is. So all that and more throughout the next 2 hours. Of course, if there's anything that we're not talking about, anything we're missing the mark on, or just getting playing wrong, feel free to drop into the chat. Let your mind be free. Let your voice be heard. But more importantly, join the conversation. In the meantime, between time, Paul B.
Yo.
What say you?
Just seeing people who are joining the conversation right now. Jay Hannah in the chat saying good morning. Appreciate you. Donnell Sessions gives us a good morning. Good morning to you. RG says 104, man. She lived a full life and then some. Shout out to the family of the Thomas family. Ruth Thomas just passed away. I appreciate you with your words there. Also, Kimmer is talking about the North Omaha Visitor Center saying, I don't know. I saw that big table in the back and all them chairs, and I was thinking about asking Preston if I could use it for a board meeting. Yeah, I think it is open to the public that way too. So definitely check that out. Again, North Omaha Visitor Center doors are now open. Brother Preston Love Jr. is there, and there's a staff there, coffee shop there. It's if you don't know where it's at, it's over there. It's at the old Drips building over there across the street from the Fair Deal Cafe. So it's right there in the complex. I think the other side of the drive of the parking lot there is the Dreamland building, where the North Omaha Black History Museum is at. So it's right there on the Deuce, man. Definitely go check it out. And lots of partners and stuff that you can kind of connect with when you get over there with Brother Preston Love Jr. for sure. So shout out to them. I see Wanda Lewis in the chat giving us a good morning. Good morning to you. Ariel's 402 says hit the like button if you're on YouTube, especially like and subscribe over there if you would. Appreciate that. Jay Hannah seems to be excited for Sierra coming on, so that's what's up. Appreciate you coming through, very much so. And we'll get to our special guest here shortly, so stay tuned for that. But in the meantime, between time, we'll take a quick break and we'll come back and jump into a little bit of a conversation before we get to our guests. And we very much appreciate you being here. So do us a favor, share the show. If you're on Facebook, it's easy to do to share on your page. So we can get as many people in the conversation as we can. And if you're on YouTube, share the link so that more people can come through as well. As many voices in the conversation as we can is the goal. We definitely want to share this space with you as we do this today. So with that, we'll take a quick break and we'll come back and jump into the conversation. You're listening to First Sky Omaha in the morning.
In the morning.
Paul B, Buddy to God. We'll be right back, y'all. Stay tuned.
Black Bob. Black. One move, we move. Just like that. Just like black. One move, we move. Just like that.
Welcome back. First Sky Omaha in the morning.
in the morning.
My name is Paul B. He's Buddy to God. We're here with all of
Hey.
you, the chat chimers, the ghost listeners, and the monitoring spirits. We appreciate you coming through this morning. We're going to jump into a little bit of the story before we get to our special guest. Stay tuned. Oh, Marlon Harrison in the chat says Ruth Thomas was the Grand Marshal at the Native Omaha Days Parade this year. Thank you.
Yeah.
I was hoping you were going to come in and remind us about that.
Hey, with the fun facts.
There it is. Man on the street. I love it. I love it, Brother Marlon Harrison. Buddy, what's first on the agenda?
Yeah, again, as I mentioned, this season, I'm, trying to build a habit of starting with the affirmative, again, stories that lead us in a direction, kind of support the theme of this season. And again, this season's theme is spaces and places. And looking at, again, this development that's really been going on since we started First Sky Omaha, talking about the Blue Stem Prairie, excuse me. You might not know about his new names. Maybe the old name might be familiar. Again, the Mayat Apartments or Wintergreen Apartments, which again was a really infamous apartment complex. Growing up, especially if you're, were a child or grew up in the Omaha area, late 90s, early 2000s, you might remember, again, it was infamous. Kind of led to crime ridden, and it's an infamous place. Let's just call it what it is, and has been shut down for some years. Over the time, just overgrew. Actually, I lived over there. A lot of the turkey gang jokes that we had were turkeys that came from that area. Turkey gang. But again, all that has changed now 5 years later. And the first phase of this project has completed. Shout out to Nebraska Examiner for the report. Again, this is behind a nonprofit, the Habitat for Humanity was behind this. Again, $29 million project. Typically a builder of 10 or fewer homes cluster, which this is a pretty huge development. Habitat believes the venture to be the largest nonprofit affordable home ownership project in Nebraska's largest city, being Omaha. This is, again, the first phase of the first wave of a newly constructed homes at the roughly 15-acre North Omaha site, again, around 52nd and Sorensen. Connects about 85 families to home ownership. Another 15 homes in the area will be renovated as well. Habitat CEO Amanda Brewer said it's widely known that home ownership makes a difference in families' quality of life, which is, again, why we're talking about it. Talking about spaces and places. And again, if there's a place that you call home, especially a forever home, something that you own, more likely to invest in the community around it. She also said it was unimaginable early on that a home ownership project of that scale could materialize. So saying this land that was out of commission for so long, vacant, abandoned, overrun with weeds, trees, and dumping, it seemed impossible. But what seemed impossible, not just difficult, but impossible, happened. It gives you renewed faith. So again, I'm kind of curious to see if anybody in the chat has either one seen those properties or know anybody who's again possibly moving in to those properties. Would definitely love to hear a first take on just the quality of the housing, the area, just hear your takes on it. But again, I'm familiar with that area. My mom still lives in that area. I grew up in that area. When I was voting, that was kind of my voting area. So definitely happy to see some development, especially in the Mayats. Again, I have memories of growing up in the Mayats, have family members that lived there. So to see that area kind of get wrapped back into the community, if you will, I'm excited. It's a part of the story, if you will, of North Omaha. But again, we'll love to hear your takes on it. Paul, what say you?
Yeah, I'm not familiar with that area. I didn't really grow up there, but I do. But I'm struck by how much land and how many houses got built right up underneath our nose. I didn't even know that was going on over there in that area. So I'm anxious to see too what you in the comments, our chat chimers, have to say about this. And if you knew about it, what you feel about it from the story. It feels like a super positive thing, and like it seems like some real progress on affordable housing, on home ownership in North Omaha, and all the things that we would like to see and like to have. So I'd like some more details on it. But man, if we can get how many did you say? 85 houses, 85 families purchasing homes in North O?
Yep, and another 15 being renovated in the surrounding area. So,
bro, off top, that sounds like the thing. So I'd love to hear from you. If Mama Guy, if you're in the chat, let us know about the neighborhood, and if you've seen any, if the construction is driven you crazy since you right around there somewhere. But I'm tripping on like how fast that must have went down. I remember talking about that area a year and a half ago or something like that, and there wasn't. We were talking about some plans that was going on there, so they got them things up fast.
Well,
Yeah.
I mean, they've been working on this. Actually, they were just starting like breaking ground and preparing the ground when I left, because my house that I lived in when I left Omaha was like
Interesting.
right
Okay,
around the corner from there.
they were breaking
Right around
ground
the
back
corner.
then.
Yeah, yeah, they've been working on this for a while, but to see it pop up and now be finished, I'm excited because it's been a pretty big project, and your point of it being kind of under our noses is a good point because that's a tucked away spot, and you wouldn't think. I mean, it's you might have driven past that area
And just didn't know.
hundreds of times. If you
Mhm.
drive up Sorensen, from
Hmm.
30th going up to 72nd, you've driven past it. Right
Wow.
there at 52nd. That light right there, 52nd and
Okay.
Sorensen before you get to like Eagles Nest and that area. It's right there. It's right, yeah, kind of right by Wakanda. It's very tucked off, but that also makes you think of how many other areas like that are in North Omaha. You
Yeah.
think of Brother Kasim Shabazz and the BAA and the land that they have. Again, acres of land in North Omaha ready to be developed, just tucked away. How
Interesting.
many spots are like that? It is very interesting. I'm trying to look at the numbers behind it. So as I'll try to find exactly how much some of these houses cost. But this has definitely been a project that's been going on for a while. I do think Front Porch was a part of this as well. So yeah, if anybody in the chat has any more information on that,
Hmm.
definitely let us know. This is kind of seems good in my eyes, but yeah, let's
Yep.
talk about
Yep.
it.
Brother RG in the chat is saying I haven't been over that way since about 2012 or 2013 ish, but I would
Mm,
imagine that they removed the concrete barricades on the perimeter streets of the old Mayats.
mhm.
Says BZ, that area of town is kind of off in the cut, so that's what your buddy was saying. So unless you're up there, you wouldn't have noticed the development. But I pass by there all the time, every day, and I'm all in through there. So it's just I don't know. I guess I just I just missed it. But it does seem like this thing just popped up. Also, looks like Anthony Rogers right in the chat says, I like how Nebraska Examiner refers to it as affordable housing. Yeah, we're looking for the numbers on that to find out what that actually means. But if the
Right.
purpose of it, if Habitat's behind it too, and the purpose of it is to develop some home ownership in the area, I'm anxious to see what the prices are and what's going on there for sure. Also, RG says, "Yep, on the right turn on Curtis from Sorensen. That's what's up."
Mhm.
Ariel 402 says, "Love the process. Just wondering if it is a positive, affordable housing or more of a guys against it."
Mhm.
Yeah, yeah, we'll definitely have to. You know us. We're gonna ask the questions on this one for sure. But yeah, I'm just looking at the photo of this as well. Just posting this on the screen and just seeing these rows and rows and rows of houses, and just like they're basically just built a whole new neighborhood, couple
Mhm.
neighborhoods. Seems like that's a lot of homes. That's a lot of homes. So hopefully we'll cut through this issue of home shortages and also touch this issue of home ownership in North Omaha. That's what I'm looking forward to seeing if that's gonna what that's gonna do as well. And also, just a testament to being able to turn a neighborhood around. That, like you were saying, my ass has the reputation, and it's been like that for years. And then it was kind of not even touched for a long time after
Mhm.
that. And now here we are, like you said, the pockets of North Omaha that have enough space to build, 100 houses on it is still
Right.
here, still available. Some opportunity there. We've talked to people like Brother Curry, Don Curry, who is doing a little bit of development with 3 properties of his own in the same vein. So yeah, it's really interesting to think that sometimes we think it's finite amount of space in North Omaha, but there's a lot of development, a lot of stuff that can continue on. And if it wasn't that way, then we wouldn't have all these outside developers trying to come in here and do something to it. So
Yeah. One last point on this though. Well, not necessarily though, but in addition to the conversation, it is interesting who is moving in some of these new developments, especially that area of kind of 52nd, 60th, and Sorensen. There's actually been a lot of development in that area specifically. A lot of townhomes, duplexes popping up in that area, and a lot of them are our brothers and sisters of the refugee community that have been
mm,
filling those up. So I am kind of interested in seeing some of the programs behind this. Again, there are programs associated with this situation. As I'm looking through the website, maybe as we prepare for our guests, post a link in the chat for those interested to look into it more. But yeah, more in that conversation as far as who is getting into these places as well.
There you go. We'll take a quick break and we'll come right back with our special guest. Again, you're listening to First Sky Omaha in the morning.
In the morning.
My name is Paul B. He's Buddy to God. Stay tuned, y'all. We'll be right back.
Yeah.
Welcome back. First Sky Omaha in the morning.
In the morning.
My name is Paul B. He's Buddy to God, and we have Khenda Mustafa in the chat. Good morning.
Good morning. Great to be with you all.
Thanks for coming. Appreciate you.
Absolutely.
Thanks for joining us.
Thanks for you have a nice setup going on back there. You got some fresh flowers. I'm loving that. Yeah.
Curls flipped.
Oh yes.
Are you a morning person? Are you?
Yeah, I'm pretty much a morning person. Yes.
Cool. We're not. We're a couple of musicians. So I'm looking at your space. It's so like bright in early morning, and I'm just like, well, she's waking me up just with her setting. I love it.
Well, you won't wake me up every morning. Many mornings. Yeah, I'm a long-time listener, first-time guest.
Hey.
Yeah, I really appreciate y'all. Yeah, y'all do an amazing job. I appreciate y'all consistently creating space for the important conversations in our community.
Well, thank you.
Man. Thank you.
Appreciate that very much. Well, we admire the work that you guys are doing over there too. For our listeners that don't know who you are, go ahead and introduce yourself and let them know what organization you're from.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm Khenda Mustafa. I'm the Director of Community Engagement at CIRA. CIRA is the Center for Immigrant and Refugee Advancement. So we are a nonprofit organization. We've been serving immigrants and refugees in Nebraska and Southwest Iowa for around 3 decades. Our mission is to empower immigrants and refugees to live confidently through our high quality services, and also to create welcoming communities through education and advocacy.
Nice.
Cool.
Nice.
How long have you been with them?
Oh, I've been at CIRA for about 2 years now. Yeah.
Okay. What area are y'all based in? Omaha, Lincoln?
Yeah, so our office is in Omaha. We're right there on 42nd and Center. We've got that great mural. I don't know if you've been around 42nd and Center, across from the Center Mall. We've got our whole building is wrapped in an awesome mural designed by a locally based artist, David Manzaneras.
Very nice.
Man, yeah, I know that building. Okay. Nice.
Love
Man,
it.
that's interesting. Before we get into the services and the work that CIRA does, I'm kind of curious about you. You know, where are you from? Are you based out of Omaha? How'd you kind of get into the work that you do?
Yeah, I live in Omaha now. I've been in Omaha for about 5 years. And before that, I was in Lincoln. I went to college in Lincoln. And then I grew up in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. Okay. My family actually came to the U.S. As refugees when I was 3 years old. So we survived the genocide against Kurdish people in Iraq that Saddam Hussein was doing in the 90s. And so that's what brought us to the U.S. And I really, my family was able to benefit from the refugee resettlement program that allowed us to restart our life and find safety and new opportunities in the U.S. And I've just been very aware of that my whole life and grateful for it. And it led me into the work that I do today.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
It's got to be a serious feeling like you really got called with what's going on in our administration now. When you got into this thing a couple of years ago, Was it this bad? Did it seem like you really needed to be here to do this kind of work for immigrants especially?
Yeah, definitely. And so I've been at Sierra for 2 years in this role, but I've been in this work for much longer. So I was at Nebraska Appleseed before that, policy organization that works on many things, including immigrant inclusion. I definitely was called to do this work, and I knew going into this year specifically that it was going to be a hard year, and it's just been apparent throughout this whole year why this work is important and why we need to just continue to build. Actually, one of the things that I knew was going to happen this year was that we would be, as immigrant serving organizations, as immigrant communities, we'd be defending a lot. We'd be in defensive mode in the courtroom. We'd be defending against some of the rhetoric that's being spewed about our communities. But one of the things I wanted to make sure of this year was that we're also building towards a vision of a Nebraska where everyone belongs and where immigrant and refugee community members can contribute to our state as we always have. So yeah, it's been, I try to keep that positive view. I try to find things to work on that keep me in that positive space of we're not just defending and not just fighting, but trying to continue building towards our vision. But a vast majority of our work right now is that defensive and fighting space. So
I bet. I can't wait to dig into that a little bit. Before we do, I do want to ask a quick question, and I know now that I have to temper my questions when it comes to funding. We always want to say, follow the money. Who's paying for this? But in this day and age, I'm not asking for literal names of people because they've been getting targeted every time they find out somebody is donated to a nonprofit or anything. Then now their businesses is getting targeted. So could you give us a little example of just like maybe the percentage of personal donations against other corporations or foundations that are helping?
Absolutely. So before this year, I would say our funding came about 50% from federal government or pass-through funds from the state, like DHHS, and the other 50 was private funds, including from foundations and private donors. In anticipation of what we knew the federal cuts were going to come this year, we had a lot of conversations with the philanthropic community here in Omaha and across the state. And the funders really, I can say, I guess if I name one, I have to name them all. So, but at any rate, the philanthropic community here in Omaha has been really supportive. And now our funds come about 90% from private and 10% from still those like pass-through funds that haven't been cut yet. And then in the summer when the Glen Valley raid happened in Omaha, we saw a huge surgence of private funds. So I don't know the exact numbers, but I know that we had more new donors than we've ever had, which just made us feel so grateful. And it just showed that the community was supporting and showing up to make sure that the vital services that we provide are able to continue.
That's great. We got a chat chimer in the chat right now. Jay Hannah says, I'm proud to be on their donor list. That's what's up.
Thank you so much, Jay.
Nice. Speaking of those services, I'm personally kind of curious how we got to this point in Omaha. Just a little background. My mom worked at Wells Fargo for quite a while. So I watched her work closely with a lot of the immigrant community as they came in, setting up bank accounts, trying to figure out, and even going to immigrant events at Benson High where a lot of resources were, displayed and showed for the immigrant community. And yet here we are now with the Cornhusker Clink. We heard about individuals in South Omaha not going to businesses, not going to restaurants, just the environment we're in now. How do we get here from Omaha, several years ago, maybe 10 or so years ago, being a hub for immigrants, being a place where a lot of immigrant communities were sent? How do we get here?
That's a really good question. And I like the context that you shared, it rings true to what I've known about Omaha, is that we have a long history of welcoming immigrants and refugees. Nebraska has had one of the largest per capita refugee resettlement rates in the country, and yeah, immigrants have been part of the fabric of our community for a very long time. I think we're seeing the federal administration's strategies work from the top all the way down to our local and state level policies. The current administration, they have a strategy that has become very clear over the last year. It's focused on creating fear in communities. So one thing that has been clear is that the federal administration is well aware that they don't have the resources needed to accomplish mass deportation like they've said they want to do. 1 million people deported a year has never happened. The country has never even become close to that number. And so it's recognized that a far easier and cheaper way to reduce the number of immigrants in the country is to make people so afraid and insecure that they choose to self-deport. And we've seen that in our local communities locally, as you mentioned, Buddy to God, that people are afraid, and in every aspect of life, every small and big decision, there is pressure on immigrant communities there's just pressure and hostility when it comes to finding work. Like just last week, the federal government proposed or enacted changes to work authorization, making it harder for immigrants to work consistently. There's been changes in access to stable housing, access to benefits like SNAP and Medicaid. And last week, the federal government decided to stop processing all asylum cases indefinitely. That puts community members in immigration limbo much longer. So it's a situation that's been created that leaves our communities in a uncertain, confused, and vulnerable state.
Can you speak to that immigration limbo a little bit? Because this narrative that people are just rushing into the country and don't want to go through the processes and don't want to do right. But how many people are actually trying to do right and caught up in red tape and caught in waiting on hearings, and what is the reality?
Yeah, absolutely. There have been pathways that people have been able to take, that this year, a lot of those pathways have been eliminated. So I'll speak to that example. I guess the overarching idea is that it's not as simple as documented or undocumented. There's processes in place. So for example, asylum, that is an individual that has a well-founded fear or threat of their safety, who comes to the United States. There is a process for that individual within a year to apply to be granted asylum through an official process. So, and in that process, there's a point in which once you've applied for that, you could get a work authorization. So you could be working here. That I don't refer to that individual as undocumented, but they don't have a stable status. They're kind of in the process of it. That's kind of the limbo. So for example, with asylum applications no longer being processed, that means people have put in their application, they followed that process, and now the process has just been halted. That's one. And then the other one I wanted to mention that we saw this year, which has been really troubling, is what I'm calling de-documentation. So individuals that had a full-on status and a documentation, they came to the United States through a legal process and through and had an established status. So some of these statuses would be referred to as temporary protected status or humanitarian parole status, that was created for folks that were fleeing very dire situations. So this year, the federal administration has ended a lot of those statuses. So overnight, community members lost their immigration status and thus their ability to work. So people came here, had documentation, had a process that they could continue to have a more permanent status, but overnight that was ended, and now folks can't work and are more vulnerable.
Man, that's jacked up. Yeah, I appreciate you identifying a lot of these issues that you're seeing. Are there any particular groups of immigrants that are having a particularly hard time right now? I know that there's like some unrest in Sudan and some other places that make it really tough on some families here. Are you seeing any particular groups of people that are having an especially hard time?
Yeah, I think, you know, I would say certainly this whole year our immigrant neighbors from Central and South America have had just a really hard time with the rhetoric that has been spewed, that has really stripped whole groups of people of humanity and dignity. More recently, I would say, like, the federal administration has used certain tragedies and like the shooting in the National Guard shooting recently, that has used that to create a more hostile situation for like our Afghan community members or our Somali community members. So I think those are some of the folks that are feeling it. But what I'm hearing and what I'm seeing every day is that it's all of our immigrant communities that are really experiencing the hate and the fear that comes with these policies.
Yeah.
I'm kind of curious how, I guess, far, like how retroactive is some of this stuff going to be? I know we're, talking about people currently caught up in the immigration process and trying to find asylum and status and things like that. But what is the fear that this, administration will go beyond that to second generation immigrants, and, how far back, does that fear go?
Yeah, well, another strategy of the U.S. government has been to flood the immigration space with policy announcements and executive orders. So, like, one of the first executive orders was about birthright citizenship. So, something that we've had in this country for a very long time is now in question. And I think I read recently that it will possibly be heard by a higher court. So, I mean, that's one extreme example of a threat that could exist, or at least the fear of it. And then just last week, one of the policies that came out is that any refugee that has arrived here in the last 5 years will be subjected to re-vetting. So our refugee communities, the way that the refugee resettlement process has been set up is that there's a long vetting process that happens before individuals come to the United States. And so once those communities come to the United States, they come with the with a status and the possibility to become a citizen within a few years. So now folks that have arrived in the last 5 years may be vulnerable to being their case being kind of reopened and re-examined. And then in that same policy, the administration said that they have the right to open up any case. So basically to investigate and potentially remove status from any refugee that arrived at any time. So that is very deeply troubling.
Wow. For those of you just joining us, we're with Khenda Mustafa. She's with CIRUS, the Center for Immigrant and Refugee. What was the A for?
Oh, advancement.
Advancement. I was frantically looking around. I should have just put this up. This is the first page of their website. You can go check this out. We're talking a little bit about some of the we've already gone through some of the reasons why she in particular is in this line of work and has been working with this group here. We know that there's a lot of chat chimers and ghost listeners that are already very positive towards this particular organization. We even kind of asked a little bit about where the money's coming from to fund this, and now we just gone through some of the problems that she's been able to see here with what's going on with this administration, the pressure against a lot of immigrants and refugees, and now we got to get to some of the solutions. Well, what are the things that CERA does? So when I was looking at your website, I saw that you some of your services include legal representation, refugee services, social work, and this is an interesting one: unaccompanied children. So I kind of want to know from your perspective what that means as far as some of these services are concerned, and how it is that you determine which families and people that you'll give these services to. Can you tell a little bit about that?
Absolutely. So yeah, we provide free immigration legal services, social work, and refugee services. Folks can reach out to us through our hotline. It's called the NELA hotline. That stands for Nebraska Immigrant Legal Assistance Hotline. It is on our website. So that would be the first step that someone would take to get connected to our services. So we have a legal team of 28 attorneys and around 50 total legal workers, including folks that are recognized by the Department of Justice to be authorized to do some immigration work. So about 50 individuals that are ready to help folks. There is a high demand for our services. So reaching out to us starts a process that can possibly have some wait times, but it's important for people to reach out if they do need to speak to an immigration attorney. Our unaccompanied children program is an interesting one. So the United States has a policy that it will not turn away children that arrive at the border at the U.S. southern border without accompaniment by an adult. The government doesn't send children back to potential danger. So we're the only organization, I think, in the region that has a partnership with a federal contractor that lets us know when children or a child is going to come to Nebraska to reunite with either a family member or a sponsor. And so we're able to connect with that child and with the family. And we always send an attorney and a social worker so that the attorney can help with the legal process. Social worker can help to meet the immediate needs, food, shelter, access to medical support, and then all the way up to clinical therapy that we provide in-house and in the home of the client as well. So yeah, that's a little bit of what our work looks like. This year, we've also focused a lot on the education advocacy and the coalition building. So one of the things that we started really early this year was convening a statewide network of community safety planning teams. So many communities across Nebraska, including here in Omaha, have a local team that's focused on providing education to immigrant communities on their rights and how to safety plan for their community in the case of a deportation or detention in the family. And that those local teams can also rapidly respond in the case of a large-scale immigration raid like what we saw at Glen Valley.
We've seen meetings, of course, with local law enforcement and FBI officials, Homeland Security officials. Have you heard any talks or any possibility of more ICE raids or heightened activity by ICE in the Omaha area?
That's a good question. Usually we don't find out ahead of time if there's going to be one. I mean, there's always a rumor mill, and we monitor that very closely, and we look into the credible rumors. I'll say that immigration enforcement doesn't always look like a large scale raid. So we do see kind of a consistent kind of flow of individual arrests and targeted arrests that are consistently happening in our community. And so it's not always going to be the spectacular case. There is very much an ICE presence in our communities in Omaha.
Okay.
Do you get a lot of pushback? Are there in our state? I'm kind of wondering about
Mhm.
how friendly are you guys with the state?
With the state, do you mean state level policymakers or in general? Because I
Yeah.
will say, in the state of Nebraska, there's widespread support for immigrant communities. So there's an alliance. It's called the Alliance for Thriving Communities. We don't have a website presence yet, but that's coming. So this alliance is made up of 70 organizations, businesses, associations, leaders across different sectors. So you've got like agriculture, the Restaurants Association, hospitals, education, and just cross sector folks that have come together and said that Nebraska needs immigrants in our state. Our economy simply cannot survive without
Mhm.
our immigrant population, and so this group of leaders have are working on advocating for common sense policies that keep families together, keep our communities intact, and provide stability for communities. In terms of policymakers, it's a mixed bag, though. So.
Mhm. That's interesting that you're saying that, though. We're just this has been kind of a theme lately too. We've been talking about like how much the state, people in the state, feel. It seems like it's more of a purple state than a red state. We got a lot of people, just to make a quick analogy of it. I don't really get into the colors of it all, but we always are hearing that there's people in the state that want certain things, and it doesn't seem like our leadership is always representing what most people want in this state, which is like you're explaining right now, to try to find some kind of common sense situation here when it comes to refugees and immigrants in our community that does we all know make our community thrive and makes the economy thrive and so on. So I think it's really interesting that you're echoing that too, because that's been something that we've been talking about for the past few days. As a matter of fact, just how many people in Nebraska feel a certain way. So when I was asking the question, I was definitely asking the question more about Pillin, more about some of the senators and so on and so forth. And if you have lawmakers like that or organizations like that are actively not supporting or even pushing back on you guys, where's the fight? I didn't realize you had so many people with they're able to litigate. So many lawyers in the room
Man.
help, but I'm sure they're busy helping people and not really trying to worry too much about pushing back any kind of help they're not getting from the state or feds.
Yeah.
But just in general, do you feel like even the lawmakers and even the people in charge of things, are they at least positive to the work that you guys are doing, or do you feel like it's a fight?
So one point is that you're right that our legal team is focused on direct service delivery. We do have one attorney that is our policy lead attorney, so she does go to the state legislature, lobby, and have conversations with policymakers. It is there. I think a lot of Nebraska policymakers are navigating the pressures that they have to align with the federal government, even when it is an anti-Nebraska policy. So
Mm,
Mhm.
it's just, it's so clear, especially when I talk to folks across different sectors on what they're seeing, restaurants closing down, meatpacking plants closing down, or
mhm,
um, folks not being able to provide the services that we all depend on. It does not make sense for Nebraska to make it harder for people to work when we already have 40,000 unfilled jobs. We have the lowest unemployment rate, so we have more open jobs than people to fill them. And so
Mm.
it is, I see it as deeply anti-Nebraska to make it hard for people to stay here. I mean, I feel like as a state, we're always talking about keeping talent here and brain drain and how to reverse brain drain and that sort of thing. And this is just counter to that. So
Right.
it's shocking to me a lot when I see um, our state level and federal delegation align with a federal agenda that does not work for Nebraska. It really doesn't work for the state or for the country, but specifically for Nebraska.
Mm.
wow. Yeah, interesting.
Yeah. Yeah, but yet here we are again. These policies, these things that doesn't help anybody and nobody wants, but they're moving forward. So with that said, can you have any updates on the McCook Center? Again, there's been litigation, there's been lawsuits, there's been protests, there's been calls for legislative hearings, but yet Pillin is pushing forward. Do you have any updates, or can you kind of give any insight to where we are as far as the fight to at least get that shut down or halted, or yeah, is Sarah a part of that fight?
Help the people involved or anything?
Right.
That's a good question. I'm not as updated on that, so I can't speak to that with authority. I think just one of the glaring things is that this decision was made process for without a real meaningful process for public comment, and it just the way that it happened was very yeah. I don't have any updates on where that is at. I know you all had someone talk about that recently,
Mhm.
but yeah,
We were
we're
there.
monitoring. But yeah,
We were just thinking about that your organization in particular working with any of the people that were involved or that had been taken to that facility, or you mentioned that you guys were representing some people that were in the raids and so on. So I know Appleseed was had some lawsuits out as well on some stuff. So is that the level that you guys are assisting people that are getting taken to these facilities? Are you guys directly involved with the individuals?
yep. So we do provide direct representation for individuals that have been detained. Like in the Glen Valley raid, we were able to provide representation to a handful of folks there. A lot of folks had um, uh, found private attorneys, which was great that they had access to that. We are also always trying to educate folks on the legal process, the changing legal process, because at one point it's just changed over the past few months of who's bond eligible, what kinds of options are actually available to people. So yes, we do direct representation and a lot of education too.
Nice.
Okay. There are a few questions in the chat. Maybe we can get to those here in a second, but I did want to ask as far as oh yes. Again, your work is community outreach, right? Is it so? What can the community do? Again, as I mentioned, people have been outspoken about this. Obviously, the community is chiming up. Don't want to see these types of activities in their community. So, as the people, what can we do to assist in this fight?
Yeah, well, as always, I guess like the first pieces I'll just get out of the way are like if you have money, donate to our organization or to other organizations. If you have time, volunteer to organizations that are trying to make a difference in working with immigrant communities. But then I like to think about a lot of change happens on the interpersonal relationship level, neighbors talking to neighbors. So I like to kind of focus on that. I think some things that people can do are learn about the issue, read the news. I know that it's a luxury to not read the news, but understand what's happening and talk to your family members, talk to your kids and friends, and center the humanity of people, challenge harmful narratives and stereotypes. If someone says, or when people refer to individuals as illegal, correct that and say we're talking about human beings that are undocumented or have different documentation. No one is illegal, and immigration law is civil law anyway, so it's not a criminal offense to be in the United States without permission. And then the other one is educate yourself on Know Your Rights materials. So on CIRA's website, you can find there's a whole page on Know Your Rights. There's a guide there. You can reach out to us. My email is on the website. You can reach out to have us present a Know Your Rights training to your group. We can do a train the trainer so you can be prepared with the rights that then you can deliver that information to your immigrant neighbors, and then meet your neighbors too. So I guess learn people's stories, understand that your neighbors from immigrant backgrounds, maybe experiencing a lot of fear and anxiety. See if you can connect with folks and ask practical ways that you can help them out, whether it's like picking up kids from school or helping get groceries if folks are feeling afraid to leave their homes.
I appreciate that. You're talking
All
about
right.
just interpersonal relationships and us getting to know people, just human beings, with human beings and understanding the issue. I think that's a great place to start for all these things. I'm gonna put this NELA hotline in the chat. I found it on your website, so if anybody has any issues there, you can reach out to them through that number. Here's some other information too. If it's all free and confidential, Nebraska Immigration Legal Assistance Hotline. There's the number. You can press the button there too for legal assistance for detainees, and their hours are Monday through Thursday, 9 to 3. So you can leave a voicemail after hours. But definitely pass this number along to anybody who you think might need this kind of information, and that might need the help that you guys can give. There is a waiting list because they only have a certain amount of people there. So definitely, if you have a question, go ahead and get that call in so you can get there as soon as possible. In the chat, I see Bree Full in the chat says, thanks, Khenda, for the work you do. She's the best. Also, Johanna says, proud of you, Khenda, for keeping up the good fight. Thank you. Appreciate that very much. Ariel's 402 got a sarcastic question. I don't know. I think it sounds sarcastic to me, knowing him. He says, question is the French, Irish, German communities being terrorized? I think that's probably not. Also, Kethra's in the chat. Good morning to you. Appreciate you coming through. Marlon Harrison has a question. Who chooses where immigrants and refugees settle? For example, why does Omaha get a lot of Sudanese and Ethiopians, but not Jamaicans and Haitians?
Good question.
You have an answer to that?
Definitely, that's a really great question. So the refugee resettlement program, now it doesn't really exist because in the beginning of the year, the Trump administration halted all refugee resettlement. But let's talk about what it looked like before it ended. So there is a process in which the federal government contracts with, there are 9 agencies across the country that are called voluntary agencies. And then each of those 9 agencies then subcontracts agencies like Sierra. So we're an official refugee resettlement organization.
Oh, wow.
So through the process, it depends on who your volunteer agency is. Sometimes they have a different focus. So for example, our volunteer agency is called the Ethiopian Community Development Council. So they do focus on certain populations, but not exclusively. So that may determine what kinds of people from what countries come. But also in the process, there is a consideration of which places have established communities. So for example, it's more, well, I guess the rationale is that it's easier for people to settle into a new place and to integrate if there's an existing community. So we have a long history of resettling South Sudanese individuals. So that would be, Omaha would be probably first in line to receive groups from that group. And then the other piece is their secondary migration. So oftentimes refugees, when refugees get resettled in the US, they don't necessarily stay in the first place that they arrive at. So like my family came to Texas, but then we knew that a lot of our friends from the refugee camp lived in California. So we moved to California for a while, and then we moved back to Texas. So there's that as well. Really, people go to where the communities exist.
Interesting.
Makes sense. Makes sense.
It really does.
Human nature.
I did want to respond to that that sarcastic comment as well, because that's actually real. You can't really talk about immigrant policies or immigrant inclusion without talking about race. And so it's true that in Nebraska, in Omaha, we've had a long history of immigrants coming from European countries that have resettled. And what happens is over generations, maybe they change their last name to be more accepted. Maybe their accent kind of goes away and they're able to integrate into this thing that we call whiteness, and no one questions them. But then at the same time, we've got community members from Central and South America or Mexico that have been here for 6 generations, and yet they're still seen as foreign. It's like, no, actually, I was born here. My great grandpa was born here, but still we're seen as foreign. It's because our difference is stamped on our skin and our face. So
So we just had
Um,
a guest. We just had a guest on that said, our family, well, our family didn't cross the border. The border crossed us. We've been here since before it was it was. Yeah,
absolutely, that's good.
I'm glad you touched on that and didn't shy away from it. Quite honestly, that was kind of the thread that I was wanting to go along on this today's show. I'm not sure if anybody caught the wind, but on Friday, I believe Friday or late last week, there was a update from the Trump administration on the national security plan, on their national security um, kind of. It's the NSS. I forget the last S, but the national security plan, how they view national security, and a lot of it was targeting melanated countries and doubling down on moving its focus away from Europe and moving to this whole war on drugs in South and Central America. And when you get into the war on drugs conversation, it's definitely tied to race and how marijuana is viewed and things like that. So again, I'm
Yeah.
glad you didn't shy away from that.
Absolutely. And Trump was very explicit last week in one of his statements about these new policies, where he said that he said explicitly that he wants mass, what did he say? Mass deportation. I think he called it mass reverse migration, something like that. And
Mhm.
specifically of populations that are not compatible with Western values. So we know what he means.
That's crazy.
Mhm.
Yeah, we're in quite a time. We're in quite a time where they're pushing this whole deal.
I
Tamara,
did,
go
if I
ahead.
may, I don't know how much time I have left, but I did see a question in the chat about city government, and I just wanted to mention that. So in Omaha, um, I've been feeling really hopeful and positive about Mayor John Ewing's administration, and we've been able to have several conversations with Mayor Ewing, and he's actually supporting one of the projects that Sierra is working on, along with the Greater Omaha Chamber of Commerce. So earlier in the conversation, when I was saying I really wanted to make sure that we're not just defending, we're also creating something positive, that this is one of the things that we're creating. It is a new program that will launch in March of 2026. It is called My City Greater Omaha. It is an academy for immigrant and refugee leaders to learn more about how the city government works, how to navigate different systems, and how to participate more fully, serving on boards and commissions, and ascending to leadership roles, or having access to leadership roles rather. And we're really grateful that the mayor has expressed support for this officially, and that we'll continue to be able to work on this initiative that we feel that we feel helps to create a more welcoming Omaha. So once this is all done, we'll have something that will have leaders that are more able to advocate and more able to influence what's happening here in the city.
Man, this is actually just coming to me in this moment. And Paul, maybe we can talk about this more, but we have this content creators camp, and we haven't really thought about engaging the immigrant community as far as journalism and reporting on what's going on in their communities. But maybe we can talk. That's an interesting thought.
Well, we put we put the call out, but we, like Tamara Dwyer in the chat, we need somebody well versed in immigrant and refugee. So we need a little help on that tip too. Tamara Dwyer in the chat, she is the homeless service coordinator for the Omaha. Is saying I need someone well versed in immigrant and refugee communities to be a part of the street outreach. So would your organization be the organization to go to provide that kind of assistance to organizations like us that do want to engage more?
Absolutely. And I'm your gal, so feel free to reach out to me. I'll put my email in the chat in just a moment once I figure out how to do that. But please, reach out to us. We're always happy to connect. Our work is highly collaborative. We collaborate with a lot of organizations across the spectrum, including a lot of immigrant-led agencies and organizations. So happy to talk with you all about how you can make efforts to reach those populations.
Okay.
Definitely.
Absolutely.
Connecting dots. Love it.
I appreciate that. If you, the private chat that me and you were talking on earlier, if you put your email address there, I'll copy and paste it into the chat for us.
You got it.
I appreciate you coming through. We're well into the second hour of First Sky Omaha in the morning right now. It is
In the morning.
It's 8:14. If you believe in the concept of time. Sorry about that. Step on your line there, buddy. If you're just joining us, we're here with Khenda Mustafa from CIRA, the Center. I do this every time. Let me do it just like this.
The Center for Immigrant and Refugee Advancement.
She sounds better saying it anyway. Center for Immigrant and Refugee Advancement. This organization, you guys have been reaching out to us, really saying, what good work they're doing over there too. So definitely appreciate you doing that. And here, I'll grab your email address so you can be contacted directly by Ms. Tamara Dwyer, us, everybody. So there you go. There's the email address direct to her. And if you have any questions, of course you can ask her. But also, man, go to the website. You guys, pretty nice website, pretty good, comprehensive, easy to find information and so on and so forth there. So I appreciate that very much. Also, I see Margie Sturgeon in the chat saying, Omaha, thank you so much for helping to spread the word. I want to participate in this workshop to come away with their show mission statement, show description, and 30-second voiceover trailer they can use right away. And the 40. Oh, you're talking about, okay, cool. Yeah, we'll come back to that in a second here. Your class that you got there, for sure. We'll big that up. Also, I'm just trying to see, Marlon Harrison in the chat says, do y'all partner with any other organizations like Black Men United, North Omaha Community Partnership, or Empowerment Network? If not, how can we partner with you?
That's a great question. We partner with a lot of organizations. Those ones in specific, we have not been as connected to, so we'd be happy to join. I was recently learning about the Empowerment Network, and that was one that I was interested in getting to be a part of. So yeah, happy to connect if there are spaces that you think we should be in, either to listen and understand what's happening across the community, or to share our expertise. Happy to help. So please reach out, Marlon.
We'll definitely connect you with the Black Agenda Alliance and Untamed as well, because they've been working a lot with our African brothers and sisters in the diaspora. So we appreciate all the work that you're doing and being open to new collaborations and things like that. Thank you so much for coming through. I was really looking forward to speaking with you, especially about this organization that's been in the news with us for the past year. Really, we've been speaking about you guys. So, and it's you sound like it's a really good resource to keep tapped in with you on what's going on with each of these policy changes. I'm glad to hear that you guys keep up with everything that's happening, because we certainly can't keep up with everything, every whim, every declaration, and it just seems like it's moving daily and even a couple times a day sometimes. So the fact that you guys are keeping up with that in order to be able to help the people that it's affecting is a great thing. So appreciate it.
Absolutely. I really appreciate you all having me on the show. Thank you so much for everything that you all do. And I will continue to be a listener, and thank you so much.
Thank you.
No problem. Thanks for joining us.
First time guest. I love that.
Absolutely.
Have a good one. Peace.
Take care.
Peace.
All right. I don't know about you. I feel like I got a little information there on the.
Yeah, man. Did some good, and hopefully we'll continue to stay on top of this. Maybe even bring Sister Mustafa back.
Absolutely. We're gonna go ahead and take a quick break, and we'll come back and jump into a little bit more conversation. Still got some thread to get to, and some other community news to get to as well. So before we do that, we'll take a quick break and come back. You're listening to First Sky Omaha in the morning. I'll be Buddy to God. I don't know what's going on here with this sound, but here we go. Stay tuned. Right. Get back, y'all. Welcome back. First Sky Omaha in the morning. Paul B, buddy to God. I appreciate all of you. Shout out to the Weberize crew. I'm gonna give them another shout out since I saw Margie coming through. They got this podcasting 101 live class happening January 3rd. Only 10 seats. She was just in the chat saying, First Kamaha, thank you so much for helping to spread the word. I want participants in this workshop to come away with their show mission statement, show description, and a 30-second voiceover trailer they can use right away. And the $40 is fully support a local small business as well. That's right. Appreciate you guys doing that, man. And I appreciate all the work that you guys are. If you guys don't understand, like we've been working with Weberize for a while, and their expertise goes way beyond just doing a podcast. Both of them have extensive experience with marketing, social media, broadcast journalism, just years and years and years of experience on how to make compelling media, and they're an awesome company to support. So please check out Weberize, check out their new classes. Also, Margie is one of the Chad Chimer, our content creator instructors. Mm-hmm. So yeah, she just helped us out over the summer with some instruction on some things too, and I learned a lot just sitting there listening to her too. So again, a wealth of knowledge and expertise between the two of them and Star Trek Rich and Margie. If you guys been with us, then you know who they are for real. I appreciate you guys coming through. Mm-hmm.
Just quickly, as far as the podcasting space goes, there's again a huge push, and a lot of podcasting has gone beyond just people talking about the news, people talking about music, people talk about pop culture. Like a real push for if you're in business, you should probably have a podcast to support your company. That is where it's going. Again, to inform your customer base what you're doing, to talk about issues pertinent to your industry. Again, a lot of businesses, if there's a push for micro content, there's a lot of use for content creation just in business. So again, if you're in business, not really familiar with that aspect of it, look into it.
For those of you that's been keeping track of this whole Netflix Warner Brothers situation, that now Paramount is now throwing their hat in the ring and trying to do a hostile takeover. It's been a hot mess. I don't know if you guys been seeing what's going on, but a monopoly is about to happen one way or another with Warner Brothers. But this Netflix situation is interesting because they have so much money to be able to buy a Warner Brothers, something like $800 billion. They're talking about being able to spend on this. And they are heavily invested in the podcast space now. They are moving in that direction and trying to take away market share from other places that do podcasts. So it's just, it's never been a better time to be able to utilize those skills for a cause, a business. There's, if you have something that is wildly entertaining and internationally known, you could wind up with a contract on Netflix. I mean, they're just the latest players in the game on that. So again, a great way to get yourself started. Some great coaches to start with is Weberize for sure. Definitely look into that big way. Before we get to the next stories, I just want to also talk about this. Erica Felt, Miss Erica Felt has been pushing that there's this legislative 304 that is going to be very important. This bill that is about child care, being able to fund child care facilities. And this is the link to where you can have an example on letters to write and some things there. We're going to keep pushing this situation here, LB 304. If you don't know about it, please look into it. This is a link that I just put in the chat for you to be able to do that and figure out what kind of templates you need for letters to write or how it is that you can help make sure that this goes through. So I just wanted to mention that real quick. We had talked about it before. We'll put some more information on that in Friends of First Sky Omaha. And also one more thing that's out there, shout out to Anthony Rogers Wright for putting this pitch deck out here about data centers. I got a chance to look through this a little bit. If you really want to know about what's going on and the implications of everything that's happening and how it relates to OPPD, our area, how many data centers are here, how many data centers are coming, what data centers do to your environment, what data centers do to your city, all the things that's going on, man. What struck me about this is the situation with OPPD and how they're, a lot of kind of behind closed doors deals trying to get data centers here. And of course, they're going to go in our areas. which will be depleting resources. Our electricity bills and everything is already going up before a lot of these data centers are even here. So this is something to definitely look into. I'll put the link in the chat to that as well. Hit that link so you can definitely check this out. But this was a very interesting read, and I highly suggest you guys get into it. It's definitely the basis of a lot of the things that we're trying to talk about here on the show when it comes to the situation with OPPD, data centers, and so on and so forth. So shout out, man. Appreciate you putting that together with your organization, and let's definitely look at it. It is 8:24 right now, if you believe in the concept of time. If you're in Omaha, Nebraska as well, it's also 50-mile-an-hour winds kind of kicking up. If you guys are paying attention to that, then definitely check in with your friends and family on that. I think there's a lot of outages. Even early this morning, there was already 3,500 OPPD customers in the dark over these winds. I'm sitting here. I've been sitting here holding my breath and with fingers crossed this whole show to make sure that ain't nothing gonna go off over here, and I have to got to jump off again.
Yeah.
Shutting the show down, but that's what it is. So appreciate everybody just keeping that in mind, that this is what we're dealing with today if you're in Omaha, and reach out to loved ones and so on and so forth. With that, we're going to go ahead and jump into a little bit more conversation. We appreciate you guys sticking around. Do us a favor, share the show. You can do that now. You can do that after the show's over, especially if it's on your Facebook page. Pretty easy to do. And if you're on YouTube, again, if you miss any parts of the conversation we just had, then definitely go back and check out it in its entirety. I think I got a pretty comprehensive understanding about what this organization does. It does big time. So again, we just had a conversation with Ms. Mustafa on the Center for Immigrant and Refugee Advancement. This is kind of a know your rights resource, legal resources. They are definitely keep up with policy changes and all the things that's happening in providing services for people that are here under the circumstances that they are. And in this administration and day and age, seems like they're one of the organizations that's more important than ever that they exist. So there you go. Go back and check it out if you would. In the meantime, between time, we'll go ahead and get to the next subject. Buddy, what's next on the agenda?
Yeah, man. Moving to another story that was actually one of our most watched episodes this season, talking about the Bud Crawford situation. Shout out to Brother Kasim Shabazz, again, head bodyguard for Bud Crawford, for speaking to us. And we have an update in that situation. This is being reported by WOWT. Apparently, litigation. It is that time. Bud Crawford and again, his bodyguard, Kasim Shabazz, apparently have filed a federal lawsuit against the city of Omaha and more than a dozen officers, according to this WOWT article, over the September traffic stop, where he and others, of course, were ordered out of a vehicle at gunpoint. Brother Shabazz and two other passengers in the vehicle have filed the lawsuit claiming unconstitutional use of force and alleging discrimination. Again, Crawford did not join the suit, which is interesting. But again, Brother Shabazz is pushing this, calling for accountability, saying it's something that has to happen. Of course, if you don't know or just don't remember, the September incident occurred when Crawford was pulled over, might I add, on his birthday, right after his World Championship parade. So, keep that in mind.
Probably had the key to the city in the back seat.
Man, for allegedly driving carelessly. Again, it is also important to point out that it was initially said that he was stopped for speeding, but there was a lot of inconsistencies in this situation. Shabazz said they announced they had legal guns in the car when Crawford was stopped, but according to Omaha police, the officer did not hear them, which of course led to them being pulled out of the car at gunpoint. The lawsuit also claims Omaha officers were not properly trained on stops involving guns, which again is another kind of fold in this whole conversation, because it is being reported and it has come out that the Omaha Police Department has made some changes and updates to their training, which is kind of interesting, being that they should already have known that a new gun law was coming. Like, there needed to be changes in gun training, but yet here we are. They had to get, to your point, Paul, publicly embarrassed to make any changes. You say that's the only thing that makes him make changes. But here we are. Again, the department policy now, after being sued, requires officers to ask if anyone has a gun in the car for every traffic stop. While Shabazz sees the new requirement as a positive step, he also has concerns about the bill's overall impact. Again, talking about LB 77, saying, I believe firmly in firearm accountability. I'm not for the LB-77. I'm not in support of that. Again, Shabazz says he wants police held to the same standard as everyone else, saying we do all of these things so that we can be law abiding, so that we can live up to the standards of the law. So then with that being the criteria of, taking the legal steps to be a legal person, we expect for that same law to protect us. Again, that blue shield kind of still rearing its ugly head, man. Unfortunately, the people writing the laws and enforcing the laws have the most leeway to break them.
Man,
here we are. What say you?
Well, it's interesting that the chief defends the situation too. He's made it a point to come on, do a press conference, saying that those officers acted within the department policy as far as he's concerned during the Crawford traffic stop. Really making it a point to say that he was not targeted, and just kind of really defending it. So like we were saying, when we hear if there's going to be some kind of international or just widespread thing that goes on, like a lawsuit against them, then they're definitely gonna speak out. Their PR team is pretty on point, it seems like. But the chief is defending these things, and also kind of bringing out some of the new policy updates and things like that too. So according to a lot of people who have chimed in on Friends of First Sky Omaha, we thought that it was kind of already the given that if you get pulled over, they ask you, do you have any weapons in the car? So why is this just that's part of the new policy? The new thing is to ask if you have weapons in the car. Like, wasn't that always the question? It has been for us.
It was to assume you did have weapons and to pull guns out on others.
Right. Yeah, I'm not really sure what's going on there, but that's kind of what's going on right now. Is I was actually kind of surprised to hear that that's the route that they were going, but I knew that if our brother Kasim is deciding that that's what that is to do, and then we're going to be hearing a little bit of pushback from the chief. So and I can understand why they feel they have to do that. So we'll see how this turns out. We'll also see how it turns out as far as stops and stuff is concerned, just with these new policy updates that they're going to try to do here. This is all really based on that incident with Bud Crawford, that they're even talking about making any changes at all here too. So we'll see how the changes come about. The new law where you can carry without a license, and all the things that changed up over this past couple of years. We knew that it was going to eventually turn into something. This is what it's turning into. There's been people that have already been shot and killed after that law. There's already and of course now the attention that we need to give it is going to come because we had a celebrity get pulled out by gunpoint. Here, somebody, you know what I'm saying? And this is drawing some more attention to it, which probably needs some attention.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but it does feel like, since I'm not necessarily saying that one has, like, the law has created this or is the sole reason for this, but it does seem like this year has been a lot of police involved shootings. Like, it's been a few.
I can't really tell if it's been more than previous years.
And I'm not sure about that either. But just kind of thinking back,
I'm trying to think about it in terms of, like, did the shootings were the nature of the interactions different because of this new law? Like, are they pulling over people that are just rolling around with guns now because they think that you can just roll around with them? Or other questions like, how different is it if you're rolling up on a car full of black guys than you are rolling up anywhere else in town? What happens then? Because like I said, like, if it's the new policy, to me, like, the thing that stuck out to me was, like, this is a new policy to ask if you have weapons in the car. When have I ever gotten pulled over and not asked, do you have weapons in the car? I don't get that. Does that not happen in other areas? Has it not been policy before? Those types of things are kind of what I'm wondering. But overall, I'm glad if there's going to be some rethinking about how things need to be done, then great. I hope that it leads to what we hopefully all want, which is less incidents and everybody being safe. So we'll see. Go ahead.
Do you make anything of Bud not joining the lawsuit? Could be something, could be nothing. Thoughts?
Yeah, I don't really, me, I'm not going to really go into my opinion on why somebody chooses to do something without me talking to them, but like, I'm not really sure. Like I said, I haven't had a chance to talk to Brother Kasim about the lawsuit yet. So like, I would love to know what their motives are behind it, but I think, just without reading too much into it, we covered the story, and the story was that this thing happened, and it was probably unnecessary for that to go down like it did. And we were pretty upset about it. I tried to temper how upset I was about it because it's Bud, and just try to bring it back down. Okay, if it's in any kind of situation here, then what exactly, what would this be out of pocket? Yeah, it still would be out of pocket. I don't need to be pulled out of, get out of the car and then get a gun drawn on you after you've willingly been like, hey, I got a gun in the car. You know what I'm saying? Like there's guns in the car. We had this talk with Brother Kasim. As a matter of fact, I'm going to put that episode in the chat so you can go back and watch that episode that we had with Brother Kasim right after this happened, who was Bud Crawford's bodyguard, if you're just joining us. And one thing that stuck out with me was the way that he handled the police officer that was on his side. He was like, listen, I'm not going to put my hands down. You're going to have to reach in here and get my gun off of me, because I'm not going to put my hands down. Some of the techniques that he teaches, probably even in police interactions with the community, he implemented there. And that was something that I thought was very interesting as well. So everything was about de-escalation when it came to him, and I'm sure everybody else in the car, so for it to wind up that this is that the champ got pulled out of the car at gunpoint does sound a little bit unnecessary, but just as much as it's unnecessary for so many other situations with people of color who get pulled out, young black men who get pulled out by gunpoint all the time. What exactly of the policies is going to change is what I'd like to know. What exactly is going to change?
That part, like even with the policy changing, like, does that change the culture? Does that change? And well, I think we all know the answer to that. RG in the chat with a shameless plug, he says, by the way, fellas, this will be a great spot to drop the Black Agenda Alliance firearms workshop this weekend. So I don't know if we have a flyer. I didn't quite see that, but thank you for the shout out. Again, BAA has a firearms workshop this weekend. If you got a flyer for that, drop that in Friends of, RG. Yeah,
please do. It's already in Friends of, actually. That's where I got the information for it. Just didn't pull the flyer for it. But
okay.
But yeah, shout out to them for that. And again, Brother Kasim leading that, to me, is definitely a great situation, just because he knows a lot about this, and he's all about teaching people how to interact with the police in order to keep everybody safe. He's got, like I said, I was impressed by just the stuff he said on the show. So that's what's up. RG says if he was a real professional, the guns wouldn't have been on the floor. Channel 6 Facebook. This is something that was said. So interesting. Talking about Bud Crawford's gun that was on the floor. Apparently the police officer saw that, and that's the reason why he drew his gun. What we've been told is that they were well informed about that there were guns in the car. Everybody told them this before they had to see anything. But there it is. Also, the comments from many people on WWT and KETV is further proof why Nebraska needs to be spelled with 3 Ks. This state is infested with white supremacy and anti-blackness. I told you, for me to remember where I'm at, surround myself by a circle of folks that I feel like are safe and people that we are building relationships with. But sometimes I forget where I'm at, and all I got to do is read the chat in KETV to remember where we're at. So yeah, I appreciate that. Brother Anthony Rogers, right? Not just the headlines, but the comments tell a lot about where we're at.
Yeah. But again, we're trying to dissect. Is that, the majority, or is that just a overwhelmingly loud minority of bigots? And
true, very true. You got a point. But I'm not quite going there yet to be like, this is not, because again, there might be a lot of people that feel a certain way. How they act about it, though, is what we got to pay attention to. So you can say that you don't want the Cornhusker clink, but if you don't actively vote against that, then what do what do I care about how you feel about it?
Yeah. What are you really saying with your actions?
Ariel's 402 says Buzz disinvolvement is the move. Okay. Like to hear why you think. He says win, lose, or draw justifies scrutiny of the OPD and its practices. That's where I'm getting at. I mean, the chief is saying that they're going to relook at these policies. I think you need to look at the policies regularly, and
Man,
hopefully maybe put together some outside some sources outside of the police department that can look at some of these policies regularly.
it'd be nice. It'd be nice. Michael Lee actually joined the conversation as well. Morning, brother. He says they never created a policy after concealed carry passed, which is quite a surprise. Like they were very vocal in the whole process of that law being passed, and opposition or support. They were there. So to know that okay, this law went through debate, went through the process, it passed, and then to not change your policy as a response to go along with it is it's kind of questionable. Like what are y'all doing? Like why aren't you changing your policy to coincide with how the laws are changing if you're supposed to enforce the laws? Like make it make sense.
Well, so they're saying they are now, so we'll just have to see what that ends up meaning. Yeah, so shout out. I always, every time I get into this conversation about Omaha Police Department, bro, there's at some point in the conversation where I go, yeah, but this ain't LAPD. And it brings me, it literally I literally am able to like go, it could be worse. I don't know if that's a shortcoming on my part to say. I mean, our police department got some serious issues, but I've been living in places where the police department had even more issues. I kind of am happy that the chief got on and said something. I don't agree with what the chief has to say, but at least he's acknowledging some things, and at least on the surface, they're going, hey, we're going to look into these policies and maybe make some changes. And sometimes we actually see that happen. We see him fire cops that break the law. We are still in Nebraska, so sometimes they get hired back. But for the most part, I feel like things could be worse, and I'm glad that they're at least looking at some things. I'm glad we got Mayor Ewing in, who used to be a police officer too, because I feel like there may be something there that it can go either way, but it also could go the way of he knows about the blue line, and he's going to try, make sure that we keep an eye on some things, or just the scrutiny of a person who used to work in law enforcement that is now your boss. You're going to make sure that you go ahead and change these policies and see what's happening, especially when the mayor got up and was like, this is unfortunate. It happened to our champ. So whatever pressure you need to put on somebody to make some changes, put the pressure on. I don't care what the nature of the pressure. If they're going to make some changes, great. If it was the embarrassment, or if it was whatever it is that made them have to go back and decide they're going to try to change some policies, I'm glad they feel like they need to change the policies. We'll see if the policies works for us when they get changed. That's all we really can do next.
Yeah. And it really is kind of up to, as far as the policies, the effectiveness, and really if it ultimately needs to be substantial changes, the courts are going to decide. Again, this is something that is going to the courts, and per the Omaha World Herald, this is something that the city says that they are going to fight vigorously, is the word that they used. Matt Coos, who is again the city's attorney, said in a statement Tuesday afternoon, the city believes the officers and 12 of their colleagues acted quote unquote justifiably. Again, the city plans to vigorously defend itself against this lawsuit. The city believes that Omaha police officers acted justifiably under the circumstances, which is, I'm kind of, it's leaving a sour taste in my mouth as well. This whole, they acted according to policy, and they didn't break any of the policies, and maybe the policies are wrong. Well, like, I mean, yeah, I'm sure you.
Well, I'm just saying, I feel like that's why they're saying they're going to change the policies now. Maybe that's as close as acknowledgement of the policies being wrong as we ever going to get.
maybe.
I'm saying we'll review our policies.
Who polices the police?
Ooh,
that question still hasn't been answered. Still hasn't been answered. So again, it goes to litigation. We'll definitely keep our eyes on that situation, and see how it plays out.
There you go. It is 8:43 right now. If you believe in the concept of time, Ariel's 402 said to expand on his saying it was a good move by Bud. He said Bud being involved stops millions for him and the city. His celebrity already keeps him involved. Interesting viewpoint. Yeah, I would love to hear from Brother Kasim and also Bud about their positions there too. So we're not done talking about this lawsuit for sure. by any means. Also, I see something interesting. Anthony Rogers Rice says that's because the chief is going to run for mayor the next time around. Mark it down. Where's your company at that we can place bets on life?
Man, the Cowshe, is that the name of it?
Yeah. Anybody want to put something on that? I was as soon as he said it, I was like, well, him and Stother were pretty close. He probably got a lot of close training on how to be the mayor from her. So that'd be interesting. We'll see. That is coming up, so we will see. Also, Michael Lee says to know a bill was coming and going to pass, and yet you don't plan or create policy is a failure of leadership. Let's be honest. Sometimes we let our trauma talk. Interesting. Yeah. Like I said, I see both ways. I can see how we also were trying to figure out like how this was going to look when that law changed. We didn't have a clear picture of like what that was going to look like. We know from history that it's going to affect how many, some people were very scared that it was going to affect how many times that when people get pulled over, they're just going to assume they got a gun and treat them that way. Mm-hmm. Has that been happening? Not sure. Again, the only reason why we're even talking about this is it happened to Bud. It's not the only reason why we're talking about this, but it's one of the reasons why it's still in the conversation, and policies needs to be looked at. Like we weren't looking at the policies of the police after that, but after that bill got changed. So, I'm not sure. And if you remember, the police department was against that bill. So I can't really expect them to have come up with a whole bunch of policies for it, because how do you know how it's going to work? And also, if you was against it in the first place, you already have a policy on how you need to handle stops. So what exactly do you do? All we can really do at this point is to keep looking at it. I'm glad they're going to look at it again. I hope they look at it even further down the line. Like the policies need to change with what's actually going on here, because ultimately we want everybody to be safe. Mm-hmm. Anyway, that's enough on that. It's 8:46 right now. If you believe in the concept of time, it's enough from me anyway. If you guys ain't got anything else to say about it, let me know. Put it in the chat. Put it in friends. I appreciate all your comments. We'll take a quick break and we'll come right back and finish out the show with a little bit more to talk about here, and also to talk about what's going on with our very last show of the season, which will be Friday. That is coming up as well. We got special guests. I'm trying to make it a Love Supreme last show myself. Plus, It's on a Friday. Yeah, man. So we'll start talking about it. Get ready for that. Stay tuned. We'll be right back. First Sky Omaha in the morning.
In the morning.
I'll be buddy to God. Stay tuned, y'all. Welcome back. First Sky Omaha in the morning. I'll be buddy to God. How y'all feeling on this Wednesday? I feel like some people are feeling like it's a Monday. Some people were pretty excited about it being Wednesday. I'm trying to get a vibe on what's going on here. How you guys feel? And as far as our show on Monday, when we talk about setting the intentions for the week, how are your intentions going this week on this hump day? I know it's only been a couple days, but how you feeling this week? What's going on with you? I'd love to hear about that. Everybody kind of came on enthusiastically this morning, but as far as the rest of the chat chimers and stuff is concerned, can't really get a feel yet exactly about how we're feeling. Anything standing out that's going on in the city that's bumming us out, or are we pretty excited about some changes that are about to be made? I know for us, we're pretty excited about this break coming because we definitely need one. And yeah, our last show of the season will be Friday, this coming up Friday, Love Supreme Friday. As a matter of fact, we had Kethro in the chat a little earlier. Kethro's actually going to join us on the show on Friday. So again, Love Supreme Friday. We're going to talk about what we can do over the break, how we can kind of cope, make sure that we continue with our art and in the things that we love, especially during times of hanging out with family, which can be hard sometimes. And just kind of trying to get through the winter around here until we can get to the other side, to the springtime. I know that I have to prepare myself for that personally. Just being inside is just different. Being around family because of all the family activities that goes on around this time. Christmas, Kwanzaa, what are you doing? Let us know. But we'd love to kind of send everybody off with understanding that even though we dive deep into these issues, space is the place being the issue this season. Follow the money being the issue next season. In between, little love supreme. That just kind of we want to keep permeating throughout our lives as the only defense against all this mess that's going on, really. So I appreciate that very much. RG said winter around here brings Nebraska affective disorder. Nebraska affective disorder, the NAD. Huh? Heard that. Marlon Harrison says, I'm feeling good. I'm going to contact Miss Khenda Mustafa and collab with her. Nice.
Yeah.
What's up, man?
Yeah.
Appreciate that.
Man, it really makes me happy and, excited to see those kind of connections made, from this show and, people learning about the community. There's just so much going on in Omaha that we don't know about that, there's some cross section and we could all work together in many areas. It's kind of interesting. A lot of silos in the Omaha area and, hopefully we can help break some of that down and connect some dots. Like I always say, man, we all we got, but that's enough. Again, there's so much going on, so much work being done. Man, it's hard to keep up.
It is, but we're going to try to keep that up. Be looking for our resources page. It's going to be on our website as well. Also, we're just continuing to work on our partnerships and how it is that we can kind of big up our partners and show like the kind of work that's being done. Also, be sure to take a look on our Facebook page on our series Lanes of Change. The Lanes of Change series is continuing on, and this whole idea is just because of what Buddy just said. Basically, we're getting to know everybody in the community that are in certain lanes. That if we put those lanes together, we can kind of push through all together, and everybody just be an expert in their lanes and go for it. So this is what's happening. We just showed part 1 of Lanes of Communication, the strategic communication part. Part 2 is up. Definitely go check that out, on our YouTube channel as well. And yeah, man, add to this conversation. Let us know on Friends of, or hit us up anytime on firstskyOmaha@gmail.com. We'd love to hear from you about what you think about these things too, about about the lanes that we need to have put together in order to push through and do some change. The way that we're talking about elements of revolution, how do we put these elements together and get together and push through like the 75, push through North Side.
Man,
love to hear about how to disrupt in that way as well. So shout out to everybody who is a part of this. I appreciate everybody who's joined us today. And again, if you miss any parts of the interview that we just had with Miss Mustafa, then definitely check it out. It was pretty prolific, and I think that some partnerships are going to come from this. I know we're going to talk. Tamara Dwyer, Brother Marlon Harrison just said he was going to reach out. So yeah, I love to see the collaboration. Like Buddy said, it's a beautiful thing.
For sure. Just about 8 minutes left in this thing. Not quite sure. I'm trying to think of if I want to dive too deep into the articles before we get out of here, or spend a little more time on kind of the thread I was thinking of. And again, I do appreciate Sister Mustafa going back to, what Ariel's 402 was saying as far as, which immigrants are being impacted, who's really feeling this lean, and what's really going on in this country. And as we wrap up this season, wrap up this concept of spaces and places, and I'm really reminded as I see some of the national policies and local moves that are happening, the importance of it. Because the reality is organizations, groups of people don't want to see us in spaces. Like, we have to actively fight to build the space and place that we want. We can't just sit. Like, it's upon us to build this space. And I want to hammer down the urgency of why we need to build this space, because there are people actively trying to push us out of spaces, people actively trying to create a white heaven. Let's just call it what it is. Black and brown faces are being pushed out.
Mm.
We can't just sit by idly and watch this happen. Again, we have to actively build the community, the home, the future that we want to see. Again, look into the latest update from Trump's national security stance. But yeah, that's where it's going. This is just the beginning.
Most def. Yeah, we'll continue on with that conversation for sure. Also, there's some other things in the chat that's going on right now. Rogers Wright said people are also sick of bloated police budgets in lieu of enough money to run our parks, so that we don't have to sell them to private family foundations. It's all connected. We are definitely looking into the situation there. We were going to have Senator Wayne on today, former Senator Wayne, on to talk about. He's the one that kind of really spoke out about this situation with Miller Park. And then, of course, there was the article that we touched on last show about what was going on there, too. We've been absolutely talking to everybody, all the players involved, and finding out some information. I think we'll be surprised about some of the outcomes of that, but we'll get to it. And the first thing that we really need to remember, though, is that there is ways that we can find out some more information and also speak out. This is one of them. December 13th at 10 to 11, they're going to have a session at Nelson Mandela Elementary for the Miller Park stakeholder engagement situation. This flyer is in Friends of First Sky Omaha. Hit that QR code. Make sure that you show up to this and get more information. Some of the family foundations, before they even making any moves, are reaching out to the public first. And that's what those meetings are for, and other meetings. The family foundation in question is not really making any moves unless they check in with the public. The public wants what's happening to happen in the first place. So we'll get more information on that and talk about it. And like I say, dive a little bit deeper into Senator Wayne's comments. And we don't know if we're going to be able to have him on before this season ends. So it might be something that we do in the middle of the break, or it might be something we do when we get back. Depending on where we're at in the process with the partnership between the city, Logier is kind of the biggest thing that we're talking about here about this Miller Park programming that's coming. We actually got a contact in the mayor's office in the city of Omaha that is the person who is going to be doing the partnering with the family foundations, and we need to speak to that person to find out exactly what's going on there. So this is still under investigation. We're still talking about it. And we appreciate you guys who are bringing in more information is what we kind of need at this point. Kind of see what the gist of the story is and how people feel about it, but finding out the data and the details from all players involved is what's next. Also, Miss Gwen Easter in the chat is she comes every once in a while to give us some more information on this. She says media loves to talk about every other lawsuit but John Carter versus Foley. Media has no problem helping Mr. Foley and others slander, discredit the commissions to hijack it. So black gatekeepers Tim Clark, governor office, would control what it does and don't do for black communities in areas of education, housing, economic development, justice. They sell out the black community for clout, money, and position. Media wants to talk about other organizations, but don't want to talk about the hijacking of the Black Commission using LB-69 that took the plenary powers, all things, and made other changes behind our blacks that was in the original LB-918 bill that created Nebraska Commission African American Affairs. That's over 30 senators voted on and passed into law. No one wants to talk about how our original 9/18/2020 was used to 2024 to create the Nebraska Asians Commission, crouched down in LB 1300. Our original bill is good enough for their commission to use. Help their community bill wasn't good enough for black African Americans across Nebraska. The fake essay is real. Okay, so again, I wanted to give you some time on that one because you come in late in the show and bring this up, and we have been talking to people involved here with this situation. Definitely waiting on some more information on that situation. And we've been trying to bring on some folks this season to talk about what was going on with the commission as well. So this is definitely going to need more information. We need more data, more facts, more receipts to a lot of the stuff that's being talked about here, being said here. And I appreciate that you are very passionate about this situation with the African American Commission. We actually had some folks on about that, and actually we're trying to work with them on getting the word out. And our partnership kind of fell apart a little bit on being able to try to help them do that. So So again, this is there's still, we understand that there's still some issues here that need to be addressed, and we'll keep on trying to work on trying to get to the bottom of some of these things as well. We can have everybody who's involved at least invite them on the show to see if they want to talk about this and get to the bottom of some things as well. So if we can figure out how to get with you on this, Miss Easter, and figure out how we can kind of get down to the nitty gritty of the story, and figure out where we need to go next with the action, then we'll definitely look into this more and keep this in the conversation too. Anyway, I just wanted to go ahead and do that because like I said, most of the time we catch what she's talking about at the very end of the show as we're leaving the show. As of today, we had a few minutes to be able to do that. So I'm sorry, buddy, to take that.
No, you good. No, like you said, always come in at the last second. So
yeah,
have some time.
Yeah. So this time we wanted to address that comment and get back to the conversation about the African American Commission for sure. It's definitely a conversation we need to. The getting down to the bottom of that has been very elusive. So so we got to continue to talk about it as well. Appreciate you bringing it back up, keeping it on the top of the agenda. With that, it is 9:00 right now. If you believe in the concept of time, I think we are going to get out of here unless there's, buddy, anything else in the chat that you want to address before we get out of here real quick? I know the chat reading.
Yeah, no, the chat definitely went off. So I just acknowledge the chat in general. I appreciate everybody, sharing their thoughts, having a comment, pushing the conversation forward. That's what we're here to do, to have a conversation with all of you about the things going on in our community and the world surrounding us and how it impacts us and what we can do about it. So again, I appreciate that. Definitely appreciate what Brother Marlon Harrison is saying, kind of reading my thoughts on this whole immigration conversation, saying, let's not forget a lot of Europeans didn't come here legally either. Now, there were countries in the 1800s and early 1900s who just gave away their people to the U.S. because they found them useless. He says, for example, Italy, Germany, and France sent a lot of their former and convicted felons to the U.S. when they were released from prison. So, yeah, again, it's, the narrative, the conversation and trying to deem certain individuals criminals and who's not a criminal. It's we know what it is, man. So again, appreciate those comments from all of you. Keep them coming, man. Let's keep the conversation going. Again, this Friday will be the last episode of the season. After that, we're going on break for a while and then come back with Following the Money. So again, definitely reach out. Of course, look out for the newsletter to continue throughout the break, though. A weekly wrap still comes out every Friday, so look out for that. And, of course, we will be having updates on there and our website, so you can always check us out and stay up to date with everything we have going on there at firstguyomaha.com. And, of course, continue the conversations. If there's any stories that we feel like you should still hear about during the break, we might post them on Friends of. Of course, that's where the conversation continues. So if you haven't already joined that page, make sure you join the group on Facebook, Friends of First Guy Omaha, again on Facebook. And I think that pretty much does it. So in the meantime, between time, Paul B, got one more time to do this, man. Take it away.
One more time. That's right. In addition to being in the group page on Friends of First Sky Omaha, you can also look on our actual First Sky Omaha Facebook page for some information as well. And there's also a First Sky Omaha news page on Facebook as well. A lot of headlines go to too. So definitely do that. And then, of course, like and subscribe over there on YouTube, where we'll be dropping a lot of more of our series. This particular series we're dropping, but also other things as well. But this Lanes of Change series is what we're working on really, really hard right now to put some more of that information out. We're also working on our TikTok presence. We're going to be putting some more things on TikTok and other social media platforms as well in order to really kind of get the word out. But it's all to direct people back to our website, which we're feverishly trying to update, fix, and make it so that that can be the headquarters where you go to get your information, and also to stay up on just everything that's going on with what's happening in the chat and the show as well. So we're definitely working on that, and we'll keep on working on it. That as well as the newsletter, as Buddy stated, and just get ready for that. Also, what we stated already last show is coming Friday. It's going to be kind of a Love Supreme show. Shout out to DJ Kethro is going to be joining us, and we might have some other surprises on that day too for our final day of the season. We usually take about a month off during this time frame, so it's usually in general from the 15th of December to the 15th of January. This time we're going to finish on the 13th and come back on the 14th of January. January 14th will be when we start the new season, Follow the Money. So get ready for that. Spread the word. But don't lose contact during the break as well. There's still going to be a lot of conversation that happens, especially on Friends of First Sky Omaha over the break. So definitely check that out. We definitely would love to hear from you. There's other things happening. We got articles that are about to drop on our actual website from some of the content creators. We had content creators camp this summer, and we were able to tap a couple of citizen journalists to write some stuff. And we're really excited about getting our citizen journalism up and rolling, and people that got through the program putting out some articles. And it's interesting to see that, what people are thinking about in their frame, in their world, and how it is that they can kind of frame the things that are happening in ways that we will never be able to see because of the fact that we're not in those worlds. So it's going to be great. And I can't wait to start really working with the citizen journalists that are coming through. And then, of course, we're going to be talking about big things coming for next year. We'll save a little bit of that for the Friday show, because by the time we get back together, we'll be 2026, and we will be making some huge changes to First Sky Omaha in general. First Sky Omaha in the morning is going to be some big changes there too. Our memberships is going to change up. Our Chat Chimer Club is happening. There's a lot that's going to happen in 2026. Not to mention that we're adding journalists to the camp. We're growing the First Sky Omaha team, and we're going to have more comprehensive news and things like that that's coming too. So get ready for some announcements next show, Friday, that's coming up, where we can kind of really talk about that. We'll talk about that and just how to stay sane and stay in with love and stay in art over the break, so that we can really keep fighting the good fight and stay with family. That's what it's all about. So we got to do it. Appreciate it. Mama God says, have a great day, fam. You too, Mama God. I'm going to hit you when I get off of here. I got to come pick that jacket up. So we'll definitely do that. We appreciate that. And thank you very much. Yes, Gwen Easter, we will definitely dive a little bit more into this story too, but we're going to get out of here today right now. So appreciate everybody that joined us today. If you missed any parts of the show, go back and check it out on YouTube. And while you're there, please like and subscribe. Also, if you're on Facebook, be sure to save the show or share the show on your page, and also like what we put out on Facebook as well. It's starting to pick up a little speed here, just in being able to fight this algorithm. The algorithm is showing some of our stuff to more people, a little bit more people now. So we want to highly encourage that we keep doing that, especially if that's where you guys are at. We want to meet you where you're at. So if you're there, then go ahead and help garden that, steward that a little bit, so we can keep growing on the social media channels while we centralize everything on the website too. So just kind of stay with us, keep looking for where we're at. We'll definitely keep on trying to reach out to you. And like I said, more to come about the changes that's happening in 2026 on Friday's show. Meantime, between time, take care of yourselves. 50-mile-an-hour winds out here. Definitely check on your loved ones. Check on the people who have power outages if you know them. And let's take care of each other. And we'll see you on Friday.
Peace.
Oh, I'm tripping. Shout out to the Umaha tribe elders for allowing us to be on this land and speak while we're here. Shout out to our elders for allowing us to speak before you. And shout out to you, the chat chimers. Appreciate all your comments today. Appreciate your respect for the guest. And I really appreciate you guys reaching out. We got a guest on. Great, man. Hit her up about some partnerships. We love it when groups get together and can utilize each other's resources. Like Buddy says, we're all we got, but it's more than enough, really.
Man.
We got a lot of resources out here and people trying to do some good work. So let's try to stop with the division, and let's try to figure out the points at which we get together and really move the needle. With that, we will get out of here after that. I kept thinking I'm missing
something's missing.
Important. Yeah. We got it now. So we're out of here. Take care of yourselves. Peace.
By the way, Vanglorious, this is protected by the Red